Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, Russia threatens NATO, the United States of America, obviously, and Ukraine against doing anything stupid in Transnistria. Transnistria is still, I think, legally a part of the Republic of Moldova, who still is a country. I'm talking about Moldova. And Russia has some peacekeeping forces over there, about 1,000, and it seems like the Ukrainians are preparing to invade, according to the Russians, who I made an article yesterday on, a video on an article yesterday, where the Russian Ministry of Defense reported that the Ukrainians brought personnel and artillery in a shooting position on a border with Transnistria. But first, let's see the title of this article that I'm going to discuss here. And then I will talk about the Russian nuclear weapons use doctrine. And first the title and then the map, so we know what we're talking about. So we start with the article, and the article comes from Russia Today, from today, the 24th of February 2023. Russia warns US, NATO and Ukraine over Transnistria. Moscow says it will respond to any provocation by Kiev against Russian peacekeepers in Moldovan breakaway region. And let's see where the map is. This is the map of Transnistria, the red one right here. This is the Republic of Moldova. This is obviously Ukraine. This is Russia. This is Crimea. These guys were politically correct, and they gave us how it used to be to a certain point. Now here is this part here. The Russians have no way to defend these guys because they can't get there with personnel or tanks or anything, because it's a landlocked little strip of land. It's true that here is a little river that goes right here in between Moldova per se and Transnistria now, and I don't think the Russians can come up that river, since they are here. It's going to be mined in the Black Sea, and I don't think they can come over there. So the only thing that the Russians can do is just hit strategic points with missiles. All right, so let's go back to this article and see what's going on here. And this is what the article says. Any action by Ukraine or the West that poses a threat or to Russian peacekeepers or nationals in the Moldovan breakaway region of Transnistria will be seen as an attack on Russia, the country's foreign ministry has stated. So that would mean if you attack that, you attacked Russia. Let's see the right here, the doctrine, the Russian doctrine of nuclear weapons use. So under Russia's official military deployment principles, the country is allowed to use nuclear weapons when Russia's enemies are using nuclear weapons or other types of weapons of mass destruction on Russian territories or its allies. That's one. Two, if Russia receives reliable data on a launch of ballistic missiles attacking its territory or that of Russian allies. Three, if Russia's critical government or military sites are attacked by the enemy in a way that would undermine nuclear forces' response actions. And four, or if the country faces an existential threat through the use of conventional weapons. So if the Ukrainians are winning and Russia considers that an existential threat, they will use nuclear weapons on whoever moves. So this is it. Now, I don't know if this would fall under that four principles, the doctrine, but let's keep reading. If it warned Kiev and its Western backers against carrying out, quote, I'm quoting, provocations there. In a statement released on Friday, Russian diplomats cited data from the country's defense ministry according to which Ukraine has amassed considerable numbers of military personnel as well as hardware and artillery on its border with Transnistria. In light of this, Moscow warned the, and I'm quoting, US, NATO member states and their Ukrainian underlings against any further adventurous steps, end quote. While Russia favors political diplomatic ways of resolving the issue, according to the Russians, and I'm quoting, no one should have any doubt that the Russian armed forces will react appropriately to any provocation by the Kiev regime, end quote, the statement reads. Moscow stressed that it is determined to protect its citizens, peacekeepers and military personnel stationed in Moldova's breakaway region. Any action, I'm quoting, posing a threat to their security will be viewed, according to international law, as an attack against the Russian Federation. The report of Ukrainian military buildup along the country's border with Transnistria was issued by the Russian Defense Ministry on Thursday. I covered that yesterday in a beautiful video. The territory of the left bank of the Dniester River proclaimed independence from Moldova in early 1990s, shortly after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Around 1,100 Russian soldiers are stationed in Transnistria as peacekeepers in order to monitor a 1992 ceasefire between Moldovan and local forces. So here we are with this beautiful Transnistria here. So it doesn't mean that the Russians cannot provoke situations here, but according to them, the other ones are provoking. The other ones probably say, no, you are provoking. The only thing is under what of the four terms or reasons to use nuclear weapons this might fall. I don't think they're going to use anything, but I think those 1,100 Russian peacekeepers in Transnistria are toast if either Moldova or Ukraine or anybody else would invade or try to push them out. And as I said, what can Russia do? Just use missiles, but probably will use missiles in such a way that, let's say it's Moldova doing some hanky-panky, Chisinau and those guys will be blown up, Chisinau being the capital of the country of Moldova. And I don't know what they can do about Ukraine, what they could hit, because even if you hit the forces attacking, let's say, Transnistria, and I don't think the Ukrainians will attack Transnistria, because that would definitely be breaching of international law. I mean, that's however you want to take it. That's, if you want to take that that's Moldova, you invade another country. If you want to take it as Transnistria, that's not your country. So either way, Ukraine shouldn't have no business in doing anything in Transnistria. Transnistria is a different entity, it's not their country, so you have no right to attack it unless you say, I don't give up. This is the order. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. Moldova is the only one that could do something. That's the only one, because they say, no, this is part of our territory and so on. But the funny thing, or not funny, you see here, this map, the funny thing, Moldova wants this red little part here. But if you look at the southeastern part of Moldova, right here, by the Black Sea, right, see that little, this is the Dniester, the Dniester River runs right here, like that. So from here to down here to Romania, all this is Moldova, is Bessarabia. When Stalin told these weasels from Romania to give it to Soviet Union, otherwise they will invade Romania and destroy it, the weasels from Romania said, yes, take that, but please don't take us, which is Bucharest. That's all they cared. So they gave it, but it was the whole thing right here. And then all this part here was Moldova, was part of Moldova, because it's half of Moldova. The whole Moldova, half of it is still in this weasel country called Romania. So this part right here, nobody asks for it, because this part was given by the Soviet leadership to Ukraine. Like Crimea was given to Ukraine in 1954 by another bad dude, right? Nikita Khrushchev. But hey, that's Crimea is Ukraine. Okay, since 1954. And here again, this was given to Ukraine. But if Moldova wants Transnistria, I think they should ask for this part too. What do you think? I think they should. And why do I say that? I say that because if you have principles and you're an ethical person and you have morals, then and you respect yourself, then it doesn't matter, if someone stole something from you, and you ask only from someone, but you don't ask someone else who took something from you. I mean, you either ask everybody, hey, that belonged to me, that was mine, and you ask him, and if he did the same thing, you're gonna say the same thing. Hey, Gigi, that's mine. You took it. They took it. They gave it to you. So that's why when the Moldova cries about Transnistria, I shed no tears for them. You know why? Until they would ask with the same vigor the southern part of their country, Moldova, that was taken by Stalin. Remember, all that was theirs. So when you're going to demand that as vigorously as you demand Transnistria, then I will give a fuck. Until then, no. And on the other hand, you were taken. So when someone takes something from you, when things solve, you want that back. So when Bessarabia was taken by the Soviet Union, after Soviet Union collapsed, that should have come back to the owner of that portion. Why you're not there, Republic of Moldova? You should go back to where you came from. You know what I mean? But it's too late now. You're too big. You grew. Actually, you didn't grow because they took part of you. Anyway, so we'll see what happens in Transnistria. Only the Moldovans could do something about it. And again, if they start doing something, I think they could also start against Ukraine and get the southern part while they're at it. I'm BSing because that's not how the big boss, the good countries, want. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.